Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Laughin podcast. My name is Drake.
I'm Tristan.
And we are your hosts for this show. Yes, it is another Disney podcast.
You asked, or you didn't, but we still deliver.
Probably didn't ask.
Probably didn't, but
we
we're
wanted to do it
anyway.
Yeah. That is correct. So for you guys who don't know us, we are not strangers to podcasting. We have actually had a podcast in the past.
We have. It's a little different topic. Do you want to elaborate on that, Drake?
Yeah, so Tristan and I were hosts of a sports podcast called the End Zone Podcast. And you can actually probably still find that on the interwebs, on whatever you're listening to this on.
But like most things in life, COVID killed it.
That is correct.
It's hard to do a sports podcast at the time when there were no sports.
Right.
We tried to make it work, talking about certain things like virtual ping pong and sports that weren't happening anymore. But we went through and it slowly kind of died off. And now here we are talking about something that I think we're both a little bit more passionate about.
That's right. So just to give you guys kind of a feel for where this show's going to go and how this show's going to work, we basically have three different sections to our show. We have the first section will basically talk about the news of that week, in which we will also include this day in Disney history, an interesting fact. And so after we talk about the news that's pertinent to the week that we're recording, we'll move into our main topic. And so that main topic can be anything from what we would do better than Disney.
Right.
Because we're smarter than Disney.
Yep. If we ran Disney for a day, it's a new book by us.
That is certainly going to be an episode.
It's going to be that's going to be an episode. Definitely, it has to be.
Today's main topic, we're going to talk about our Disney story. Why we are compelled to do a Disney podcast. What interests us to do this. So we'll tell that little bit of a story. And then we'll have our last section called the Lightning Lane.
That's my lightning sound, Drake.
That's good.
You like that?
That's real good. So with the Lightning Lane, basically what it'll be is we'll bring up anything that wasn't brought up in the news and wasn't part of the main topic that we wanted to talk about in the show. And we'll have a short, quick conversation about it. And that's where lightning comes from.
Kind of our oddball topic. The one that doesn't fit in with the rest.
So let's move into our first section, news. Tristan, this day in Disney history.
Yeah. This day being March the 30th in Disney history. What took place in the yonder years?
Picture this. March 30th, 1913. In Bakersfield, California.
Ooh.
Small little baby's born.
Tiny little baby.
Tiny little 8-pound, 6-ounce. Probably doesn't have fleece diapers.
Not baby Jesus.
It's not Jesus.
Not baby Jesus.
It's not Jesus, but it is a guy by the name of Mark Davis.
Oh.
Mark Davis was born today. And for those of you that don't know, Mark Davis is one of Walt's 9 old men. Mark created characters such as Snow White, Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty, Tinker Bell, Cruella de Vil, and he also had a very key role in development of many theme park attractions, most commonly known for Pirates of the Caribbean.
Nice.
One of the most favorite rides in Magic Kingdom and Disneyland, of course.
Of course. It's a staple classic.
Absolutely. And so that is what I found for this day in Disney history. Tristan, what did you find?
So my pick's a lot less Disney historical. For this day, March 30th, in 2007, Meet the Robinsons was released on this day. And if you don't know what the Meet the Robinsons is, you need to go and watch it. if you're listening to us, you more than likely have Disney Plus. And if you don't, you're missing out on a great joy in life, like happiness and sunshine. So some of this movie, the reason why I bring it up is star-studded. It stars the voices of Tom Selleck, Laurie Metcalf, Angela Bassett, Nicole Sullivan, and Adam West.
Nice.
What a cast.
Meet the Robinsons was actually a really good movie. I really enjoyed that movie.
It really is. And if you really don't know what this movie is, you can look up the synopsis. But basically, there's this poor little orphan boy, just like every other Disney movie. There's going to be an orphan or dead parents. Luckily, this kid has both. And so...
Lucky for him.
Lucky for him. He's technically a Disney princess. So, dead parents, orphan, and he's a genius who invents a time machine. And is that what happened? Did he invent a time machine? Yeah.
I need to get brushed up on the movie.
Yeah. Somehow or another, he goes to the future and meets his future family, all while being hunted by his ex-best friend, whose life he accidentally ruined. And he learns how to be a better human and how to keep moving forward.
Hell yeah.
So
if you haven't seen it, Disney Plus it.
Disney Plus it.
It's a good movie. All right, so that was this day in Disney history. Moving right along, looks like from things that I've seen, there's a lot of rumors and talk going around that certain nighttime parades may be returning to the parks.
Thank goodness.
It is so far overdue.
It is. Speaking of things COVID killed, I had never had the opportunity to stand and watch parades much. If you go with the people I go with, they don't like to waste any kind of time. And so when
that's ride time.
They're ride time. They're on something, in line for something, or eating something. And so maybe you can elaborate a little bit on more what this means.
Yeah. So for our people out there who enjoy parades, you will finally have the opportunity to see at the Magic Kingdom the Main Street Electrical Parade, and at Disneyland you'll be able to see Paint the Night. And so it's really exciting. It'll be a good crowd control for people who would rather ride rides than to see the fireworks shows or the parades. It'll get people on the streets and out of the queues.
Lines, yes.
But also, I mean, like people like me, I really enjoyed watching the Main Street Electrical Parade. That was one of my favorite parades to watch. And so I'm excited to see it back, and I'm excited to see if they make any changes to it or if it'll be the same Main Street Electrical Parade that we've been watching for years.
Either way, I'm going to be surprised because I have not seen it. And so either way, I'm going to be thrilled and caught off guard either way.
You'll love it. You'll love it.
Who doesn't love a good parade? We're from South Louisiana.
This is true.
We are the Mardi Gras capital. I
We
don't
are
care what
parading.
any other state says.
We do be parading.
We do be parading.
All right. Moving on. Disney made a fool out of DeSantis. And I want to be clear, this is not a political podcast. We are not going to talk about politics very often.
Nope.
But this was too funny to pass up.
Yeah. So I was not privy to what was happening with this situation until earlier today when I read the article itself. And as I continued to read, it felt like a movie plot more than real life. When you start to, well, we're going to talk about it here in a second, but when you start to read some of this and go, what in the, people actually do this? There's people actually making these kind of decisions? And we're both going to elaborate on that here in a second, but it's so ridiculous.
So, for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, Disney essentially is still its own governing body. Whenever Walt was coming down to Florida and buying up all the land to make Disney World, it was an extremely expensive project.
Right.
Not only for Walt himself, but this was all swampland. and there was not roads, there was not sewer systems, water systems, anything like that.
You couldn't hardly step on the stuff.
Right. So the infrastructure that the government would need to build for Disney to build their expensive project would have been a hard sell. So essentially what happens is Disney develops what is called Reedy Creek. And so Reedy Creek is the governing body of the Disney property. Mm-hmm. They have their own fire departments, their own ambulance services, they have their own energy plants. They are
self-sustained.
Very much so. And that was a great thing. It was fantastic. It worked out great. Florida taxpayers didn't have to use their money. Disney paid for the roads, for the infrastructure, everything. And so fast forward about 50 years, because we just celebrated the 50th anniversary
of Walt Disney World, right?
That is correct. Fast forward, and DeSantis is the governor of Florida. Mm-hmm. And he's passing a bill that a lot of people disagree with. And Disney openly comes out in objection to the bill. Mm-hmm. And DeSantis didn't like that too much. So he took it upon himself to make a political decision to dissolve Reedy Creek Improvement District. And so there's been a lot of discussions on, like, what does that mean for Disney? Do they lose their governing? Like, what's going to happen? Nobody knew. All they knew was DeSantis has taken over Reedy Creek.
Right.
And so it passes. The bill passes. The law passes where Florida takes over Reedy Creek. They dissolve all of the board who was there that Disney appointed. And DeSantis appoints his own board. And they meet, and they discover that prior to the old board being booted and the new board being put on, Disney basically made a deal with Reedy Creek Improvement District that takes away all of Reedy Creek's powers over Disney. Disney controls everything. Reedy Creek can't make a decision without Disney's approval.
Right.
Disney essentially, as a company, becomes the government, which they already kind of were.
Right.
But now, like...
officially.
And so, as you can imagine, that didn't sit well. So there's going to be legal action. Mm-hmm. There's going to be a lot of legal circuits going on. But Disney stands by what they did. They said that what they did was completely legal, completely necessary. And so I'm interested to see where this goes.
Drake, can I bring up, I think, both of our favorite parts of this this whole debacle going down between DeSantis and Disney? So in this term of the agreement that was set, using the rule against perpetuities, it states that in this case, the declaration will continue until, and this is Disney putting this in place, until 21 years after the death of the last survivor of the descendants of King Charles III. Not after King Charles dies will this stuff dissolve. After his last descendant dies, and then 21 years after that.
Tack 21 years on that.
This is where I talk about how this doesn't feel like real life. This feels like...
We're not talking about a set number of years.
No.
We're talking about the King of England.
Yeah. Charles III.
When his descendants die.
His last descendant.
21 years later.
When they stop making babies and the last one kills over. And then 21 years after that.
We'll give it up.
Well, you can have it. But are we going to stop making babies? Who's
I
to
don't
say?
think that's ever going to happen.
So, if you can't laugh about that, I mean, that's okay. that's laughable. That's comical. That is a movie.
That's classic Disney.
That's that's classic Disney.
I think they're going to make this a lot of circus out of this. It's going to be big, but I think Disney ultimately can afford better lawyers.
They do have a lot of money.
I think Disney's going to come out on top on this. I really do.
And speaking of Disney money, some big news just came out for Disney employees, right?
That's a good segue.
Isn't it a good segue?
Nice.
It's like I've done this before.
So Disney employees actually just got a raise.
Hey, all
and
right.
so, this is, I'll get into this later. But whenever I was an employee at Disney,
You'll hear more about this in the next section.
I made $9.50 per hour.
Mm-hmm. And what is minimum wage?
At the time, it was $7.25,
So just $2 above minimum wage?
and I was doing good, man.
Yeah, rolling in it.
Paying rent, buying food.
You had to pay for rent?
Oh yeah,
What?
oh yeah. Disney took that right out of my check. Never saw that money.
No. Okay. Well, let's hope they didn't raise rent with their pay raises too.
So basically, what happened is the union that Disney employees belong to basically raised a lot of hell.
Is it called the Mouseketeers?
No, I don't.
If it's not
actually,
called the Mouseketeers Union, I want to talk to their HR rep.
I actually don't know what the name of the union is, but
It better
I
be
know
the
that
Mouseketeers.
all the full-time employees basically belong to a union, and they fought for their employees to have $15 an hour minimum base pay at Disney. And through a lot of discussion, that actually worked. Well, Universal says we need some employees too,
Not so fast.
so we'll give you $17 an hour base pay. And so Disney's union basically says, hey, what you gonna do about that? And there was a lot of resentment from Disney executives to do this because they're in the middle of budget cuts right now. But they actually made an offer to the union that they would raise base pay for Disney employees to $18 an hour.
They said, hey, Universal, our ears are bigger than your wands.
Nice.
Harry Potter reference.
That's good.
Because we're Disney people.
This is true. We're loyal to Disney here.
Yeah.
And so $18 an hour base pay.
That's usually starting for somebody working in a plant job around here. So that working at quote unquote the happiest place on earth,
You're making pretty good money right now.
it's making pretty good money. You're starting to get into where people can live.
Yeah. They're doing pretty good. The union approved it, and so now that's the new base pay, $18. Congratulations, Disney employees, cast members.
Yeah, let's just hope that for your sake that Universal bumps it up to 19. That way you can get bumped up to 20.
The ball's in your court, Universal.
What is it? The what's the golden ball with the wing on it?
The golden snitch.
The snitch. Yeah.
Golden snitch.
Almost called it the widget.
It was called something else before.
The snitch it.
The snitch it.
Snitch
Something.
it. Snot ball. Something like that.
Something like that, yeah. So anyway, our last piece of news, I'll let Tristan dive in on because this is a passionate subject of his.
Ye freaking haw is what I have to say first, Drake. Roundup Rodeo Barbecue is now open in Disney World. As a huge, and I'm talking huge, Disney World, not just Disney World fan, but also a fan of Toy Story. That movie was my entire childhood. So much so to where basically all of my birthday presents that I get now are Toy Story themed coffee mugs. So I turned 26.
You got a pretty good collection there, then, huh?
I'm working on it.
Yeah, you're getting up there in age, bud.
You
get a lot of coffee mugs.
I'm getting a lot of coffee mugs. I say this. It started like 3 years ago, so I only really have 3. So
We just had a discussion about how old we're getting.
yeah, and some of you are going to listen to this and be like, "Oh, I wish."
3 years from 30. 3 years.
Who, you?
Yeah.
Oh.
It hurts.
I'm 4.
Physically.
So I turned 26 this past Sunday, and my future mother-in-law gave me a Woody coffee mug with the hat, cowboy hat, and it says "Howdy Partner" on the side of it.
Yes.
So if you don't think that I went straight home and made me some Buffalo Woody Roundup tater tots and drank some coffee out of it, you're sadly mistaken.
Do you have a snake in my boot? The snake in my boot coffee mug?
Not yet. I thought you were throwing me a euphemism for a second. I thought you were like, "Do you have a snake in your boot? Or you're happy to see me?" So yes.
Yes, you do.
Yes, I do. No, I don't. But I don't have the coffee mug yet. I'm going to work on that. But
I'd just be interested to see what it looked like.
yeah.
The snake in your boot.
The snake in my boot or the coffee mug?
Yes.
Yes. So going back to Roundup Rodeo Barbecue, the inside of this place, I don't know if you've seen pictures of it, Drake, or anything of it. It very much matches Toy Story Land, to where it is as if Andy built it with his toys. So there's playing cards, Lincoln Logs. It's like you've been shrunk down to the size of a toy. And then there's the menu. Now, just like everything else in Disney, the price is going to be up there a little bit. But this is a...
It's family-style dining, right?
Yes, it's family-style dining. And so it's $45 per adult. And that's not including tax and gratuity. But that's everywhere else in Disney. $25 for kids, 3 to 9. So there is bread service with the Prospector's homemade cheddar biscuits.
Heard they were fantastic.
And with sweet pepper jelly.
I love me some pepper jelly,
I
too.
love me some pepper jelly. Now, my favorite part about any menu is if it has a theme and all of the menu items stick to the theme. So moving on, you have Get a Wiggle on your greens. Rootin' Tootin' tomato salad.
Yeah.
Which is cucumbers, pickled red onion, white balsamic vinaigrette. Obviously plant-based. Rex's romaine and kale salad. And Wheezy's watermelon salad. All those are things I don't hate.
That watermelon salad sounds really good.
It sounds really good. And it says on here, fresh torn mint on the watermelon.
Refreshing.
So, and it gets pretty hot in Florida, just like it does here in South Louisiana. So, if you need to stop by and get you a little refreshment and you don't want to splurge on ice cream or a Dole Whip and make yourself miserable, maybe go get some Wheezy's watermelon salad.
Yeah, just spend $45 on a meal.
Yeah, it's worth it. You know, you're going to spend $45 somewhere else. I mean, half of people are spending $300 on a lightsaber
At
Galaxy's Edge. Spend $45 on some watermelon.
Sounds like a great idea.
Sounds like a great plan. I'm selling this so well.
What else does my $45 get me?
So, round up some chow. You get to choose one of these two things. You enjoy a platter of all of the following house smoked items, which are Evil Doctor smoked ribs, named after Evil Dr. Porkchop from Toy Story 3, or the first movie if you get the reference. Buttercup's beef brisket. There's a... Drake, it's almost like we wrote this. There's a sausage. There's a sausage in my boot.
Is there ever?
Let me tell you about it. And it's not worth $45. Then there's fire grilled pork sausage. Actually, no, that's what that is. The sausage in my boot is fire grilled pork sausage. And then there's barbecue chicken with style. Another Disney
good reference.
Toy Story reference, because Buzz doesn't fly. He falls with style.
That isn't flying.
It's falling with style. And if you don't like meat or, your morals are against eating meat, there's Trixie's plant-based trio. Combat cauliflower with harissa drizzle and walnut gremolata. Scrumptious bratwurst. It's obviously got to be Impossible bratwurst because bratwurst is a meat product. And rip-roaring rib chop. So, if you're plant-based, they have something for you. Don't freak out. They have something for you to eat. Now, next is reach for the sides. Select up to 4 for the table. Mean old potato salad, the married spuds, which are loaded potato barrels, veggie slaw, force-filled fried pickles, which would be my pick, campfire roasted vegetables, the longest word on here, Slinky Dog's mac and cheese, obviously because Slinky, buckin' baked beans, and cowpoke corn on the cob.
Wow.
And then it goes to dessert. Chuck Wagon desserts. Bo's lemon and blueberry cheesecake. Billy's chocolate silk pie. Goat's apple pie. Gruff's peach strawberry pie, which is your plant-based option. And cupcake a la Forky. It's for
Is it a Forky cupcake?
It is, Drake. It is, and as stated on here, it says it's for little riders, not little riders.
Little riders.
It's a gooey chocolate cake, graham cracker, buttercream, sugar cookie, that's supposed to be in the shape of a Forky. And then there's all your beverages, your sodic cork products,
Little Coke
products, little rider refreshments. They have frozen iced tea, frozen cowpoke cocoa, and Party Saurus Tex, which is lemonade strawberry puree with gummy candies. There's grown-up drinks with some alcohol. There's grown-ups peanut butter and jelly.
Yum.
Frozen screwball peanut butter whiskey, Minute Maid vanilla smoothie mix, and grape jelly.
Oh my goodness, that sounds fantastic.
Doesn't it? Then there's a whole beer and hard cider for those who want to get your normal stuff. And then if you need allergy-friendly Roundup chow, they do have the option to remove some stuff. But that is pretty much your menu.
So how do you feel about it? A pretty good menu there?
I'm pretty excited about it.
I think so too. I like the names, the theme. I hate that there's no like, you are a toy something.
Right.
But
you're a sad, strange little man.
Everything else is good.
And you have my pity. Farewell. As I said, I've seen this too many times.
I really do think though that this is going to be a big hit.
Oh, for sure. And if
I think it already is, but
and I feel like if I don't go the first time I go, right away it's a failed trip.
Very true. My dog wants to come inside, but she's not. Good. So that's the Roundup Rodeo Barbecue. It's now open in Hollywood Studios. Go check it out.
Go get you some rootin' tootin' tomato salad.
Yes, sir. All right. So that was the news of the week. That took a little while, but we'll try to make sure that we keep that around first 30-minute mark. We're right at 30 minutes now of recording.
Perfect.
So feeling pretty good about that. Let's move into our main topic.
Our Main Street topic?
The Main Street topic. That's going to stick.
I sure hope so.
That's going to stick. So for this episode, it's our first episode to get to know a little bit more about us. And so I figured for this, and Tristan agreed, that we would basically tell our Disney story. What got us into Disney, why we love Disney so much, and why we want to do a Disney podcast.
Yeah.
So Tristan, I'll let you lead it off.
All right. Well, these poor folks had to listen to me ramble on about food. If you want to, I'll go first. It's okay. I have no problem talking about myself.
Go ahead.
So I think I share a lot of the same Disney story as some people as a starter. Growing up watching Disney movies, just like every other kid. in and out of theater here and there as a kid. I loved music my whole life. Loved singing, loved dancing. Always loved Disney movies. Always loved Toy Story and Fox and the Hound. Some of my favorites there. Bug's Life. They were a huge part of my childhood growing up. But my family was not a family that went a lot of places for vacation. There was a lot of us. There was 6 of us in the house at the same time, not counting the animals. So our vacations didn't venture further than maybe Tennessee. So we didn't spend the money to go to Disney World a lot. And
When you say Tennessee, you did like Gatlinburg?
Gatlinburg, yeah.
Did a lot of Dollywood there?
Oh yeah, plenty of dollars.
Yeah,
that was kind of our Disney World.
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
A lot cheaper.
Yeah.
It's what Mom and Dad could do, and until Mom found Disney World. So I didn't actually. I've always loved Disney music, and I've always loved singing it. And as I got into theater, where me and Drake met doing theater in high school, I fell in love with Disney musicals, and it's just the music. I mean, the people who have written Disney music are obviously geniuses. They continue to put out hit after hit, even now. So the music's always been a big part of me growing up. And so then being able to finally go to Disney World as a young adult, just a few years ago for the first time, kind of seeing all these characters go to life, now I'm kind of hooked. And that's where me and my fiance Molly are kind of planning our honeymoon around Walt Disney World.
Nice.
So, and of course, we're still planning wedding stuff and getting that all prepared. But she is a true Disney freak at heart. Like,
who isn't, right?
Yeah, but this is bad. Like she goes to the park with a spreadsheet, and her and her dad have 2 or 3 different Disney apps that coincide with one another on what's the best plan of action for that day. They very much take it. They take it down as if it's like war, as if there's an enemy to beat, and Plan A is the best plan of attack. But if it rains, Plan B is also. So seeing them do Disney really changed the way that I saw Disney World, and I love a good competition. So, and she grew up loving Disney and going to Disney World all the time. So that's something that we share now as a couple, that we get to watch Disney World videos now, and allears.net and Mammoth Club and Disney Food Blog, which I spend too much time on Disney Food Blog now.
DFB is fantastic.
DFB, son. Yeah, DFB, if you're listening, we love you. Once you hear about us, you can come on the podcast, and we'll have you.
We'll have you. We'll have you on.
We'll have you, or you can have us to throw us some pity. But
just have your people call our people.
Yeah.
We'll work it out.
But I know that you have fans here in South Louisiana who are doing a podcast now. But yeah, I spend a lot of time on Disney Food Blog now.
It's a good channel.
It is. Drake, do you want to tell us a little bit about your Disney story? Your Disney story is a lot more interesting than mine.
I wouldn't say more interesting.
And you have more insight than I do. I would say more interesting.
So, my Disney story actually starts a little bit later than most. Of course, growing up, I watched the films, listen to the music, just like all, and Disney Channel was massive whenever I was growing up.
Yes.
And so, I always kind of had that background, but I was never as big of a fan as I am now, or was later in my life. So I took a Disney trip as, I think, like a 5-6-year-old. For the first time, my parents took us for one day to Magic Kingdom, and I really don't remember a whole lot of it, just because I was so young, right? So I didn't know.
Yeah, it's 20 years ago now.
Yeah, man. Jeez.
Yeah.
And so to be able to say that I did something 20 years ago is it's pretty
It doesn't sound real.
Guys, I'm getting old, and so I'm going to have to ask you to bear with me here.
Like Drake said, he's 27. He's not getting old. He's getting older.
This hurts.
That's like when people say something about the year 2030 something. I'm like, that's not a real year.
But it's fast approaching.
Just like 30s. Like, that's not a real age.
It's fast approaching. So I did take a trip as like a 5 or 6 year old, but I can relate to you. Growing up, I had family in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. And so that was our summer vacations. We were going to Gatlinburg just about every year, staying with our family and doing Dollywood, doing all the things that there's to do in Gatlinburg. And so my freshman year of high school, I was a part of the band, the marching band, and the marching band took a trip to Disney World, and we marched in a parade in the Magic Kingdom. And so that moment, so we started backstage and got to see all the behind the scenes kind of stuff, because before we went on stage, which is what everybody sees. For those that don't know, Disney uses stage terms. Cast members, on stage, off stage, backstage, things like that. So backstage is where the cast member only section is. And we started backstage before the parade, and I literally got to see the garage that they keep the Main Street Electrical Parade floats in.
Oh, wow.
And in that moment, I knew I wanted to work at that place. I was going to work at that place.
Did you see like a character missing his head or anything? Or like Mickey smoking cigarettes in the corner?
I plead the fifth. I plead the fifth. So
the Disney Mafia has sworn him to secrecy.
I don't know what you mean by headless, but Mickey always has a head when I see him. So, anywho, that trip kind of solidified to me how amazing Disney was, from the architecture to the way that, they're trained and everything about the place. I knew that was me. And so from that moment on, I actually convinced my parents that we needed to start going to Disney instead of Gatlinburg. It was a hard sell because it's far more expensive.
So you were the deciding factor in your family going to Disney.
Oh, I did that.
Wow.
And so my parents bought a timeshare in Orlando, and so we were going, every summer whenever we were getting out of school. And then got into college. I learned about the Disney College program, and man, there was never any question that I was going to do that. And so I applied my freshman year of college, and I got what is called in submission. So basically that means that I got put in limbo. I didn't get accepted. I didn't get declined. I just got put in this like limbo wait list kind of thing. And
you got friend zoned by Disney.
Right. And the way that works is, at the time, I don't know, I haven't applied for the Disney College program in a long time. But the way that works is some people would come out of submission and get interviews. Mm-hmm. And some people never made it out of submission. And I didn't never make it out of submission my freshman year of college. And it's pretty upsetting, but I didn't give up. My sophomore year, I applied right on again. Tried it right again.
Would you say you kept moving forward?
Meet the Robinsons taught me one thing, and that was to keep moving forward. And I did. And so actually applied, got accepted, moved to Disney, and worked there as a college program intern, making $9.50 an hour and loving my life. Man, that was a good time. And so since then, I've applied for a few jobs at Disney. For those of you that don't know me, I am a safety professional at a chemical plant. Actually just got hired by a chemical plant. I was a contractor for a long time. But in the past, I have applied many times to many jobs in the safety realm at Disney. I actually got so far as Disney flew me down to stay at the boardwalk for an in-person interview. It was me and one other candidate. And I didn't get the job. But you know what? That was a fantastic experience that I will never forget. I got to learn what happens when a company values their employees enough to fly potential employees across the country to stay in one of their deluxe resorts. They paid for all my food. Like my rental car paid for, reserved by Disney. Like, I learned what it meant for a company to value their employees right there. And so, may not work for Disney, but I work for a company now that values their employees as well. You know, I learned how to look for that while job searching, not just taking the first one that comes along, right? So I have a strong feeling that one day I'll end up back at Disney as a safety professional, hopefully, knock on wood. And
you can hook a friend up.
That's my Disney story.
I'll come work for you at Disney World. I'll come work under you.
Let's do it. You'll be my instrument. What is your? You do something with instrumentation?
I work in emissions. I work in environmental.
Ah, yes. Okay, you can be my environmental guy.
Yeah, I'll come be the environmental guy.
Nice. We'll do it.
I'll come stir the chlorine into the.
Into the Reedy Creek water treatment?
Yes, into the Reedy Creek water treatment.
Yeah, excellent.
I'll make sure the new Splash Mountain is not too chlorine-y.
Bromine.
Ah, yes.
Disney uses bromine in their water. Quick fact.
Fun fact.
Mm-hmm. That's why it has a distinct smell. Everybody thinks like Disney water smells a certain way. The Splash Mountain, Pirates of the Caribbean. That's it. They use bromine instead of chlorine.
I'm disappointed in myself. I should have smelled the difference.
You should have honestly known.
Oh, my whiffer let me down.
So that's my Disney story. That's why I love it so much. That's why I'm, doing this podcast with you, because I want to share that love with as many people that want to listen to this show. So, and the show really is it's going to be interesting for a while. So
it's going to be something.
Yeah. So whoever sticks with us, thank you for listening.
Thank you.
And tell your friends about us.
Yep.
Get the word out. And the more we do this, the better we'll get.
Yeah.
And the more you guys listen, the more we'll want to do it.
Right.
So that's our main topic. We'll move into the lightning lane now.
Lightning lane.
I don't even need sound effects. Like I have you here. You got it. You got it taken care of.
Got it.
So I will touch on this in the lightning lane. You brought this kind of up in your Disney story. Mm-hmm. I'll mention as well. I'm getting married in September.
Yeah. Also an engaged man.
Engaged to a beautiful, wonderful woman named Morgan.
Okay, you can't do all that.
Oh, I'm doing that.
You can't do all that. I didn't go that deep into detail about my woman.
I have 5 months till I get married. I have to,
I know, but you're going to make me look bad.
No,
I'm kidding. Mine's not going to listen to this.
We're getting married in September. We, like you and Molly, are planning our honeymoon revolved around Disney.
Whoop, whoop.
Believe it or not. So we're actually going on a Disney cruise, a 5-day Disney cruise. And it's going to be a land and sea trip. So we're going to get off of the cruise ship and go to Disney World, spend 4 days in Disney World, one day at each park. We're staying at Pop Century, and then we'll come home back to our real lives and won't be honeymooners anymore.
Be husband and wife.
Yeah. So one thing we looked into when booking the room was vacation club rental, which is extremely far cheaper than renting a room from Disney direct. If you are planning a trip, plan ahead. Disney Vacation Club members can book their rooms 11 months in advance. And so you're going to want to be on the rental club website 11 months in advance to book, because we waited too long and we didn't get the room we wanted. And so we decided to go a different route. We're going Pop Century because of the Skyliner and easy access to Epcot and Hollywood Studios.
I've been to Pop Century. Pop Century's nice.
Yeah, it's one of the better value resorts for sure. We were considering that or Art of Animation. Pop Century's rooms just got a brand new refurbishment, and so they were actually cheaper than Art of Animation too. So that was our decision maker. It was either that or rent Vacation Club points to stay at Saratoga Springs. And Saratoga Springs is just so far from everything. It's close to Disney Springs. You could take a boat trip over, but it's not close to the parks, close enough for us. So we decided to go with Pop Century. And so once that's done, I'm sure we will have a trip report for the podcast.
Yeah, you got to let us know. And you got to keep coming up with these tips, because I'm going to have to start planning a Disney World honeymoon soon. And I think the one thing I do have figured out is that I want the groom ears, or the groom shirts.
Oh yeah,
and ears and stuff. That's about as far as I've gotten.
Nice. So yeah, once y'all start looking at that, how long away are we talking here?
What's that?
How long are we from the wedding?
We are a year and a half.
Okay, so you got time to plan.
Yeah.
But yeah, start looking at that. 11 months. You're gonna want to book that out, and it's really like if you look at if you're gonna stay in the Disney bubble, and utilize Disney's transportation, all the great things that are reasons why we stay on Disney property, really look at that, because
the Disney Vacation Club rental.
Yes, because it's basically almost half the price or more.
Really? So what is it to sign up for that?
Basically, you go on to any old website like David's Vacation Club Rentals or DVC Rental Store. There's a few websites out there that are credible, and you basically go on their website, find what room you want to stay in, check their availability, and pay them. That's how that works.
Oh, wow. Okay, so it's not a membership fee.
No. So the Vacation Club members are renting their points to other people. So they're the member. They pay to be DVC members. You are paying to use their points.
I'm learning so much.
Yeah. So we actually will probably have like a DVC show soon.
Okay.
Because Morgan and I are heavily considering becoming members of Disney Vacation Club. Okay. That may be our first like married couple purchase, depending on how everything shakes out. So
the marriage or the
no. The deal that we can get with DVC. So, but we're having discussions about that and learning a lot, and I know a lot more about it now than I did last month. So, we may have a DVC show.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, I obviously don't have as many details about our honeymoon yet, but I did find this quite interesting, is that it's the first look at the 2024 Walt Disney World Marathon Weekend, Mickey and Friends race themes. So, there's obviously a 5K, there's a 10K, there's a half marathon, a Walt Disney World Marathon, the Goofy's Race and a Half Challenge, and the Dopey Challenge. But, so what those are, the 5K is Pluto themed. The 10K is Chip and Dale themed. Mm-hmm. I didn't realize how much it costs to run these.
Oh yeah, it's up there.
It's up there. I could spend a night in a resort for this. To run the half marathon, it's Donald and Daisy Duck themed. The Walt Disney World Marathon is Mickey and Minnie Mouse themed. How appropriate. And the race and a half is Goofy. And then there's the Dopey Challenge, which is
all the races in one.
All of them in one. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's long.
So, my sister-in-law, this past maybe it was a couple months ago now, did the 2023 marathon weekend.
Oh, really?
And she did the Dopey Challenge, and finished it. So congratulations to my sister-in-law for finishing all those races.
Nice.
Yeah. So I did take a picture earlier that I found really interesting. So some interesting things this year as compared to last year. I wanted to run through some cost changes. So if you're interested in doing this and you've done it in the past, here is last year's price as compared to this year's price. So in 2023, the 5K was $103.40 to run that race. This year, it's $107.99. Last year, the 10K was $146.04. This year, it's $150.99. Last year, the half marathon was $213.20. This year, it's $218.99. For the full marathon, last year it was $218.53. This year, it is $221. For the race and a half, and for those of you that don't know, the race and a half is a full marathon and the half marathon. That was $431.73 last year, and for this year, it's $432. The Dopey Challenge, which is all the races, last year was $660.92. This year, it's $672. So, some price increases this year. Not too hefty, but certainly consider that if you're going to be running more than one race.
Right.
So, yeah.
Which, if you're running more than one race, you're a little bit of an overachiever, pal.
Yeah. Shoot. I think my sister-in-law got like 6 medals this past marathon weekend.
Wow.
Because you get one medal for each race, and then you get a medal for doing goofy, and then you get a medal for doing dopey, and so it's like you get a lot of medals.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wish I got a medal every time I was goofy.
Right. I'm probably gonna run the 5K.
Yeah?
Yeah, I've been doing some running lately.
Yeah, good.
Yeah,
I've been keeping up with your Facebook, your mile jogs.
Yeah, man. This morning I was down 16 pounds.
Nice.
Eating pretty good, except for tonight we ate
some
pretty bad
canes.
tonight.
We ate some Raisin Canes.
Yeah. Raising Cane's, give us a little
Todd
sponsorship.
Graves, we love you. Shout out, throw us some money.
That was some money here. But yeah, been eating pretty good, man. Feeling good. Been running a good bit. Morgan and I did a 5K in Baton Rouge. About a month ago, maybe 2 weeks. 2 weeks ago.
Didn't you do one in the Superdome not too long ago?
Yes. So before football season, I did the Saints 5K and ended up on the 50-yard line of the Superdome, and I'll be doing that again.
Yeah, I remember you saying that was pretty neat.
Yeah, that was fantastic. So I'll probably sign up to run the 5K. I'm definitely interested in becoming a Run Disney fan.
Yeah.
Run Disney.
Run Disney Dad.
Yeah. So you guys kind of got a feel of what the show is going to be like.
Yeah.
The kind of the structure that we're going on. And that pretty much concludes today's show. Thank you for listening. If you want to know next time we do a show, which will more than likely hopefully be next week, you can follow us on Facebook and Instagram at the Laughin Place Pod. Not laughing, Laughin, the Laughin Place Pod. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram. And when you follow us there, please let us know in the comments of the socials what you would like to hear. What kind of shows are you interested in? We've got a lot of ideas. Some of them you heard tonight, and we've got some more in the back of our brains as well that we're gonna develop and make this a pretty good show.
Yeah.
So
watch out for those snakes in your boots.
And those sausages.
In your boots.
with that, we're off.
See you guys.